Ilia Topuria has reportedly put his luxury Madrid home on the market, listing the property for around $3.5 million. The residence, which he previously shared with his former wife, is located in one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods and has played a role in Topuria's training routine over the years. The house isn't just a place to live, it also served as a frequent training location featuring a fully equipped private gym. On top of that, the property includes spa amenities, round-the-clock security, and a 6-car garage, highlighting just how high-end the home really is. While no official statement has been made about the reason for the sale, the listing has already sparked conversation among fans. Meanwhile, social media had its own viral moment when Rafael Faz posted a video doing an impression of Jean Silva reacting emotionally after seeing the UFC title. The impression quickly gained traction, and Jean Silva himself noticed it. Silva responded in the comments with 5 laughing, crying emojis, clearly taking the joke in stride. One short line also stood out underneath the post, reading simply, "Not sleeping," adding another layer to the moment that fans latched onto almost immediately. Murab Dvalishvili also weighed in with his thoughts on Ilia Topuria, particularly regarding Topuria's reaction while watching Justin Gaethje face Paddy Pimblett. According to Dvalishvili, Ilia appeared to be laughing during the fight. He suggested that what Topuria was seeing was more of a raw, aggressive brawl rather than refined technical striking. In his view, the fighters were throwing down with intensity, but lacked the technical precision that Topuria is known for. Dvalishvili implied that this contrast highlights Topuria's confidence, pointing out that Ilia operates at a much higher boxing level, which may explain his reaction. While watching that matchup unfold, Sean O'Malley opened up about some of the mental pressure he was dealing with ahead of UFC 324, admitting that he had genuine concerns about his career trajectory. Coming into the event after 2 consecutive losses, O'Malley revealed that he was afraid of becoming the next Tony Ferguson, a fighter who continued competing through a long losing streak. He explained that the thought crossed his mind more than once, especially when considering what another loss might mean. O'Malley said the relief he felt after the fight was unlike anything he had experienced before, describing it as the most intense sense of relief of his entire career. O'Malley also shared that he and Tim Welch had conversations about what they witnessed backstage during weight cuts, including seeing Paddy Pimblett vaping while cutting weight. According to O'Malley, the situation was shocking. He described being on weight himself at 136 pounds, feeling absolutely drained, while Pimblett appeared relaxed and was vaping without concern. O'Malley claimed that Pimblett was officially on weight at 154 pounds, despite usually walking around much heavier. He emphasized how strange it was to see someone cutting weight while inhaling vape smoke, calling it toxic and questioning how that could possibly be part of a weight cut process. O'Malley went on to describe the mental spiral he was in before the fight, saying he genuinely believed he could end up losing 4 or 5 fights in a row and then transition into boxing instead. He joked about the idea of telling Dana White he would fight for whatever pay was offered, just so he could eventually move into boxing. Those thoughts, he admitted, were very real at the time and weighed heavily on him leading into the bout. Elsewhere, footage shared by Nina Drama showed Arman Tsarukyan intensely watching the Gaethje vs. Pimblett fight. In the video, Tsarukyan could be heard reacting in real time, shouting instructions and expressing frustration with certain positions. He questioned decisions being made during the fight, calling out moments where he believed opportunities were being missed. The footage captured Tsarukyan fully locked in, analyzing every exchange, every position, and every transition as the fight played out on screen. Alexander Volkanovski also made headlines with comments about his willingness to accept fights across multiple weight classes. Volkanovski stated that if the UFC offered him a fight at lightweight or welterweight, he would accept without hesitation. He even went as far as saying he would take a fight at middleweight if that's what was put in front of him. Volkanovski explained that this mindset is simply part of who he is as a competitor. However, he did acknowledge that questions of whether someone truly earns or deserves certain opportunities will always exist. Volkanovski reflected on the circumstances surrounding some of his recent losses, noting that factors like short-notice fights and quick turnarounds play a role in how those outcomes are viewed. He pointed out that some people might argue those losses shouldn't count the same way, especially considering the level of competition involved. Volkanovski emphasized that when you break it down, those defeats came against fighters ranked pound for pound at the very top of the sport. In his view, that context still says something meaningful about where he stands, even when losses are involved. Bilal Muhammad shared his perspective on what should be next for Paddy Pimblett. According to Muhammad, Pimblett will likely need time to recover following his recent fight, but the UFC will want to get him back into the win column sooner rather than later. Bilal explained that while the promotion won't want to give Pimblett an extremely difficult matchup right away, there are no easy fights at this level. He suggested that a fight against Dan Hooker makes sense, especially given the back-and-forth trash talk between the two. Muhammad also stated that Arman Tsarukyan would be the toughest possible test in the lightweight division and doesn't believe that matchup makes sense for Pimblett at this stage. Demetrius Johnson responded to comments suggesting that he may be the most underpaid fighter in UFC history relative to his accomplishments. Johnson acknowledged that, by comparison, he likely was underpaid during his prime. He recalled conversations with UFC matchmakers about future fights and noted how inconsistent pay could be. Johnson explained that while many people assume the UFC is where all the money is, that isn't always the case. He pointed out that there are fighters outside the UFC who earn significantly more, even without holding championships. Despite that, Johnson said he has no regrets because he was smart with his money early in his career. He explained that from as early as 2012, he focused on saving and investing rather than spending recklessly. Johnson listed several properties he owns, including homes in Arizona and Washington, and emphasized that those investments allow him to live comfortably now. While he enjoys creating YouTube content, he made it clear that he doesn't rely on it financially and could step away whenever he chooses. Looking back, Johnson said he feels satisfied with where he ended up, financially and otherwise. Kamaru Usman gave his thoughts on Sean O'Malley's path back to a bantamweight title shot, suggesting that O'Malley needs at least one more win before getting another opportunity. Usman explained that he didn't feel any bantamweight at the event delivered a breakout performance that clearly separated them from the rest of the division. Because of that, he believes the UFC will likely move forward with a trilogy involving Petroyan and Merab Dvalishvili before circling back to O'Malley. Usman identified two possible opponents that could make sense for O'Malley if he wants to earn another title shot. One option is Umar Nurmagomedov, who impressed many with his performance. The other is Corey Sandhagen, who Usman described as a dark horse in the division. According to Usman, beating either of those fighters would firmly place O'Malley back into title contention. Jorge Masvidal didn't hold back when sharing his thoughts on Paddy Pimblett after watching his fight against Justin Gaethje. Masvidal claimed that Pimblett would get destroyed by Ilia Topuria if that matchup ever happened. He also suggested that Gaethje might be nearing retirement, implying that he wouldn't want any part of a fight with Topuria. Masvidal stated that both Pimblett and Gaethje are levels below Ilia, pointing to what he saw as clear gaps in wrestling, striking, defense, and overall skill. In his opinion, Topuria operates on a completely different level compared to those fighters. Rose Namajunas revealed that she had to undergo surgery following her unanimous decision loss to Natalia Silva at UFC 324. Namajunas explained that she suffered multiple eye pokes during the fight, which resulted in a torn canalicular tube. She shared a video ahead of the procedure, telling fans that doctors would be inserting a silicone tube into her eye as part of the repair. Namajunas said the recovery process is expected to last around 3 months and asked fans to keep her in their thoughts as she focuses on healing. Finally, Arman Tsarukyan appeared on Daniel Cormier's YouTube channel, where he issued a formal apology to Dana White and Hunter Campbell. Tsarukyan asked for forgiveness and expressed his desire for a title fight, promising to behave better moving forward. He said he would avoid unnecessary incidents and made it clear that he understands the importance of professionalism. However, he also admitted that emotions can run high during fight camps and unexpected situations can happen. Tsarukyan acknowledged that while he plans to be more disciplined, he won't back down if physically provoked, making it clear where he draws the line. That wraps up the latest MMA news. Thanks for watching, and for daily MMA content, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. The 3 top comments from the previous video were also highlighted, including reactions to John Silva's emotional moment and discussions about Arman Tsarukyan's potential future. If you want to be featured next time, leave a comment below, and if you missed the previous update, check out the video on screen now to catch up.